Bills go to the Dolphins. Dolphins are +3 home favorites. And Bills win and they're in. If they lose, then there is a chance, barring a couple other things to happen. We won't get into the semantics of it, but there's a chance that they can miss if they lose. Unlikely, but probabilistically able to happen. So Bills win and they're in. They clinch a 2 seed potentially. Dolphins, if they win, they can clinch their division. So big game for both teams and their playoff hopes. Not really getting in, but seeding more than anything. So this is a playoff game in itself, it feels like. Bills, they come in with a little bit of momentum. Dolphins come in lacking some momentum. Tough loss last week. Embarrassing loss, really. I don't even want to say tough. I want to say embarrassing. They just got routed by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And it really seems like a bad time for the Dolphins due to the injuries, the way that they've been losing. It feels like they're kind of coming apart. They were one of the few teams that started the season off really hot, and unfortunately, they've only really gone downhill from there. So the Dolphins, kind of contrary to the Bills, are lacking a bit of momentum that they could really use, especially as we head into the last week of the NFL, heading into the playoffs. So both teams, playoff game pretty much in essence in this last week. Before I get into any of the numbers, the splits, Brendan, snap reaction to this game, snap reaction to this line. Who do you think is going to win with everything on the line?
What a game to finish the season. It's the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. And you've got the Bills here as 3-point favorites going to the Dolphins, 3 points on DraftKings. I don't know about other books, but the Dolphins are just becoming unhinged, and they're dying there on the field. Bradley Chubb went out ACL, Reed got the ankle, Tyreek's hurt. Waddle's hurt. Tua's, been brain dead for a couple years, and I can't see. Now, if the Dolphins were going to Buffalo, I think Buffalo wins this game easy. But the Dolphins are hosting. The weather's very different down there in the Miami heat. So Miami winter heat. And so I think it's a closer game, but I think the Bills are going to ride the momentum that they have. And the fact that if they lose, they could possibly miss the playoffs. But if they win, they're the 2 seed.
Yeah.
It's too big a stakes. I think the Bills are going to come in here and cover that. And the Dolphins did to get embarrassed last week, and they're really hurting right now.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of their key injuries. Bradley Chubb tore his ACL last week. That's huge. One of the best pass rusher on that Dolphins team. And then Raheem Mostert is out. He's the league leader in NFL rushing touchdowns.
James Wiseman.
Yeah. And then, oh God, I can't even focus after that. And then, what's his name? Now you got me off track.
I'm sorry.
Raheem Mostert out, Bradley Chubb, and then Jalen Waddle back injured. No surprise. He's been hurt pretty much every other game of the year.
Yeah.
So they're missing some crucial components of both their offense and their defense. And so heading into a game like this, and Tua's banged up, let's not ignore that. He's, also pretty beat up himself. So careful.
Sorry.
And so with that, it's hard not to believe that Buffalo's going to take this game outright, especially the 3 points. I know it is on the road. I know it is. But, when you say this is in Miami and it's Miami Heat, I think that also benefits Buffalo to some capacity. So in this, I fully expect Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, and Bill's new offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, to get as creative as you possibly can imagine. I expect him to throw him the kitchen sink and get everybody involved on the offensive side of the ball. I think Josh Allen will have plenty of time to throw now that Bradley Chubb is out for the year. I expect the Dolphins to struggle to generate a pass rush. And we're slowly starting to see Buffalo go back to that 2 tight end set with Dawson Knox back healthy. When he was hurt, they ran predominantly one tight end sets with Dalton Kincaid, and they're slowly shifting back to how they started the season with two tight end sets. And they have Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid both on the field at the same time. And that creates a lot of mismatches on the defensive side of the ball, especially with linebackers. And we know that Miami's linebackers aren't exactly, top tier or top talent in the league. So I think the Bills are going to come out here and they're going to come out firing. Now, I will say the model projections actually like Miami to win outright. Not by a lot, by very little, actually. I think it's like half a point. But I'm going against the grain here. I'm going against Scarlett. She's treated us well. But
bad girl.
Every now and then, I like to pivot off of the model. Just it's hard. You can't quantify injuries. You can't quantify, you can't quantify momentum. I mean, you can try, but some people do it. But our model doesn't do that. So
you can't quantify vibes.
Exactly. I say that on the tweet every week. This doesn't take into account injury, weather, and vibes. So, with that being said, I think Buffalo comes in here and they get it done. I think it's going to be close. I will say Buffalo's defense is not what it has been in comparison to the last few years. They still certainly grade as a better performing defense. In fact, if we look at offensive EPA allowed, they rank it 8th in the league, Miami 13th, surprisingly. And then offensive EPA generated, both of these teams are top 3 in the league. Buffalo at 2, Miami at 3. So this will be no shortage of offense, but I think that the defense will kind of be the key factor in this game. So Buffalo's defense has comparatively gotten better as the season's gone on. They lost a lot of people. They had a lot of key injuries, especially including Matt Milano near the beginning of the season, but they've sort of rebounded. This defensive unit, in comparison to the roster that they've had, is overachieving, in my opinion. So with them trending upwards, with Miami trending downwards on the defensive side of the ball, I like Buffalo. And of course, I think that right now, Sean McDermott, as much as I love Mike McDaniel, and I think he'll be a very, very successful coach, Sean McDermott is more weathered and has been in these situations more often than not. So I'm going to trust the veteran background that McDermott has in these type of situations to be able to go out there and out-coach his peer. So give me the Bills, man. Give me them.
The Bills.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see there are a couple scenarios where Miami can come out here, but it's just I'm not going to go out here and trust a team who just lost multiple key players on both sides of the ball and has continued to only trend downwards. Plus, they only have one win against a team who has a 500 or better record, the Dallas Cowboys. So
this is a huge vibes week. That's all I have to say. There's so many different implications for the playoffs that
it is
big vibes week.
It really is. It's there's a lot of feel that's going to have to go into this week, and especially with some of the teams sitting players out. We'll talk about the Steelers versus the Ravens. We fully expect the Ravens to sit most of their starters.
Everybody.
So, it's kind of hard to judge that. It's hard to model that. You can't really account for that when trying to model and project for these games. So we'll see.